Top story of the morning, the Iraqi airstrike. The Pentagon has taken out Iranian Quds Force Commander Qasem Soleimani. Now, the Defense Department justified the attack in a statement overnight. Here's what they said. General Soleimani was actively developing plans to attack American diplomats and service members in Iraq and throughout the region. This strike aimed at deterring future Iranian attack plans. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, responded this morning. Here's what he said. Harsh retaliation is waiting for the U.S. Joining me now to react, retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, Green Beret, and now Florida Congressman Michael Waltz. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning.
Your reaction to the overnight airstrike that killed this general?
Well, I think this was a bold and decisive move on the part of the president, and frankly, it's long overdue on the part of the United States. I can't overstate how important Soleimani was to the Iranian regime as their key field commander. He was almost a cult-like figure to Shiite militias and terrorist groups across the Middle East, and a key general, the key general for the Iranian regime. But according to the State Department, and I've served all over the Middle East, he had over 600 American soldiers' blood on his hands, responsible for their deaths in Iraq, and tens of thousands of people across the Middle East. The militias that he commanded are responsible for human rights abuses in many countries: Syria, Lebanon, Iraq. And this was a justified attack. Not only was he actively planning, again, he had American blood on his hands in the past. And from an authority standpoint, you're going to see all kinds of carping in Washington about this. But this was a defensive action. The Pentagon is absolutely correct that it can take preemptive attacks. Look, the bottom line is, if the president has intelligence that Americans are being targeted and about to be killed, you don't wait until we have more body bags and then take action. You take preemptive action, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, and to your point, you know, Defense Secretary Esper was talking to reporters just last month, and he made comments that kind of makes me believe that this had been kind of in the works for a while. And I'm curious now about U.S. troop levels in Iraq. We've got 5,000 there right now. There's another 4,000 that possibly, according to the Pentagon, could be sent into the region. But this is going to obviously be something that you and your colleagues, when you go back to D.C., are going to have to address and deal with.
Well, but just further to that point, Soleimani was also a designated terrorist, as was the individual that was killed with him, that was the head of Hezbollah in Iraq, that had just attacked our embassy. And this was done in Iraq, not Iran. So, you know, there'll be kind of a picture painted that we're about to send 1 million Americans for a D-Day style invasion of Tehran. That's just not the case. This was a targeted, likely drone strike in Iraq on the heels of our embassy being attacked and an American citizen being killed by the very militias that Soleimani commanded. So I think this was proportional. It was responsible. It would have been irresponsible to let him continue to kill Americans.
You know, and his tentacles were in Syria. They were in Yemen. And, of course, as you mentioned, Iraq, that shadow military that he was running. But I do want to move to what's happening in Washington. Lawmakers obviously have already overnight responded to this attack. And I want to get your reaction on what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said. She did issue a statement. She warned against escalating the situation in the Middle East. She says, quote, "Tonight's airstrike risks provoking further dangerous escalation of violence. America and the world cannot afford to have tensions escalate to the point of no return." You had Lindsey Graham praising the president. He warned Iran that this was a bad path to go down. He said, wow, the price of killing and injuring Americans has just gone up drastically. Major blow to Iranian regime that has American blood on its hands. Soleimani was one of the most ruthless and vicious members of the Ayatollah's regime. He's had American blood on his hands. I appreciate President Trump's bold action against Iranian aggression. Your reaction to not only Nancy Pelosi, who also went on to say that she thinks that Congress should have been consulted by this action. Your response to that first, and then to Senator Graham's statement.
Well, you know, again, when you have actionable intelligence that he is plotting to continue to kill Americans after they just did kill someone last week in Iraq, you don't go to Congress and say, "Mother, may I?" You take action. And that's what the president did. I think it was absolutely justified. This is going to have strategic ramifications. Iran will respond. But again, this isn't America's the bad guy here. The Iranians have been escalating The president has shown restraint, calling back an airstrike last year when he thought it was disproportionate. This was a proportionate response, and I think he was absolutely justified in doing so. And I absolutely praise him for doing so. Again, we don't wait until more Americans are dead when you have intelligence that it's coming to then take action. You take preemptive action to stop it in the first place. And I think the families of American soldiers that have been killed over many years by this man who was a plank holder in 1979 of the IRGC, the Guards Corps, are celebrating, as are, interestingly, Iraqis and Syrians who he has attacked over the years, celebrating in the streets today.
Sure.
We can't overstate the human rights abuses that that Soleimani has committed.
And they're going to make him a martyr. That's the worry, actually. James Freeman from the Wall Street Journal is on set, sir.
Congressman, thanks. I'm wondering about that Iranian response. I think we'd all love to see them respond to this latest opportunity to start being a good neighbor in the region and start conducting their foreign policy like a civilized country. But what should we reasonably expect here from the Iranian side?
Well, I think all of our military facilities and our embassies in the region are on high alert right now. I would expect the Iranians announced a National Security Council meeting this morning, their time. I expect they're on their heels on this. They were not. The reason Soleimani was traveling around so freely around the region is we've had opportunities to attack him in the past and haven't done so, particularly in the Obama administration. The Israelis have asked, and we wouldn't let them. So I think they're going to take a moment. I think they're scrambling. I would expect to see attacks into Israel. It would not surprise me to tie the United States back to, what they call the Great Satan in Israel. But on the other hand, the Iranians in the past have been deterred by strength and emboldened by weakness. And my understanding is the Pentagon has already approved responses. We are ready for this. The president has a strong team around him, and Esper, Pompeo, and O'Brien. So I think the Pentagon will be ready for anything the Iranians are going to throw at us.
Congressman, we certainly appreciate your time this morning. We appreciate you joining us, sir.
All right. Thanks so much.
Congressman Michael Watson.